I'm back, I'm tanned, and I'm ready to party. Let's talk about my trip. I remember when I was young, I would be like, everyone has to tell me I'm tan when I get back from vacation, because I used to get back from vacation and people would be like, oh my God, you're not tan. Did you even go on vacation? Talk about middle school trauma. Who gives a fuck though, actually? Like, why did people who were 14 cared about me being tanned? Welcome back to Human. My name is Jess, and we kick off every single episode with a little bit of an embarrassing story on my part, something that's definitely too much information, and that's what we're doing right now. So I would love to just tell you about my trip. I just got back from a trip. Everyone's been in their travel era lately. I heard for the very first time, if you've been listening for a while, you know my brother's been traveling for literal months. He's been gone since August. I heard for the first time on FaceTime last night that he feels ready to come home. What the fuck? I have exciting life updates that you will hear in the next episode. Basically, in the era, if you listen to last week's episode, you know, we're saying era, it's a thing. This era that I'm in right now, I'm posting every other Monday. Okay, so that's when you know what to expect from me. I will be talking to you every other Monday. Anything more than that makes me feel like my head's gonna explode. So not next Monday, but the Monday after, I will also have a very big life update for you. But right now, let's talk about my trip. My vacation that was so last minute, so random, with both of my grandmas, my dad's mom and my mom's mom. They're not like friends, but they've gone on a trip together in the past. So they're two old ladies who don't have a lot of friends who are physically able to go on trips. So I was going to be like, because some of them are dead. That's what happens. My grandma that made this all happen, she's 80 years old, about to turn 81. She's literally so cool. She's so iconic. And she's like, a lot of my friends have passed away and a lot of them aren't physically able to go on trips. So she convinced my other grandma to go away with her. But then there was some shit going down. I'm pretty sure I shared about dog sitting. At least I posted something on my Instagram at Human Pod about it, because my other grandma was unwell. So I had to look after her dog. So then suddenly my other grandma was like, my 80-year-old grandma was like, what are we going to do if this bitch can't go on this trip? And then she thought about bringing my cousin and her replacement. Both grandmas ended up going, all as well. But then she threw me into the mix, was like, let's see if Jess wants to come. And weirdly, I had been thinking about reaching out to my grandma and being like, you want to go on a trip? I want to go on a trip. Do you want to go on a trip together? Like, I literally have no one else I could go on a trip with right now. Let's do it. Let's like hang. So everything worked out. It was really weird to go on a trip with both of my grandmas, but I packed my patience. I sure did. We didn't take the plane ride there with them or the plane ride back with them, and that was a saving fucking grace. If I had to do the actual travel part with them, I think that would have been just a lot, because they're old and they're cute and they have their quirks. So I went to St. Lucia down in the Caribbean and I spent my birthday there. So I'm 23 now. Happy birthday, Jess. This feels like so conceited when you make a whole podcast episode about you and your birthday, but like that's what this is. Welcome to Human. So I got there on a Sunday and my birthday wasn't till Friday, and I knew, I was like, I want to book an excursion for my birthday. I do not want to spend my actual birthday on this teeny tiny old people resort where literally there was this couple. I want to say their name because I don't think they'll find me on social and I don't think they'll ever hear this. And like, also like, I'm not talking shit about them, but it was just like this older couple, Brett and Erica. They were around every damn corner. Like, you would be doing something and suddenly Brett would be like, hi, Jessica. And I'd be like, oh, hi, Brett. And they like sat near us on the plane. Like, they were just like, oh, there's Brett. Oh, there's Erica. And so you just like could not hide from anyone on this resort. And so I was just like, I'm not spending my 23rd birthday with my grandma on the beach and my cousin. And so my cousin that I went with, she has a twin sister and she's always kind of like, you know, been really close with her twin, obviously, and kept to each other. And so I actually haven't gotten to know her super well. So this was a very iconic bonding trip for us. She's 18. There is quite a little bit of an age gap between us. And we had so much fun. So I was like, fuck it. We're going to go on an excursion. Me and you, leave the grandmas at the resort and go have a time. And basically when you go down south and go to a resort, they basically sell you on one main excursion. There's always like the iconic excursion of that specific island. And so this one was, they called it a catamaran. It was a big boat. It was like a ferry. It was a ferry ride. It was like a boat ride to a waterfall, but we'll get to the details. And leading up to it, I had a lot going on. It was a really chaotic week right before I left for this trip. More deets on that coming soon. And so I did a really good job packing. I'm like obsessed with having everything I could ever possibly need within reason. I don't overpack too much. But the one thing I didn't pack enough of was pads. Oh, and to answer one of your questions, some incredible human to human member of the community submitted a question via the link in the show notes on my website, humantohumanpod.com, and said, what kind of pads do you use? Okay, love how specific this question is. I'm wondering if you could talk more about the pads you've used, as I'm still trying to find a good option. Pad brands you've tried over the years, thick, maxi, or ultra thin pads, wings or no wings. Okay, let's talk about pads for a second, because I am not a tampon girl. I'm not a Diva Cup girl. Diva Cups have given me so many yeast infections. If you know, you know. I made an episode about that like over a year ago. So I'm a pad girl. I was literally terrified of tampons growing up. I was terrified of my own vagina growing up. I can use tampons. Fun fact, I didn't use tampons till after I lost my virginity, so that's fun. So on this trip, I'll get into the details of the pads I use, but just give me a sec. So on this trip, I packed some pads because basically I was there from Sunday to Sunday, and the last Sunday when I was supposed to leave is when I was supposed to get my period, and my period's usually fairly on time. So I genuinely was just like so overwhelmed packing for this trip and just like navigating so many things going on in my life at once. All good things, but it was a lot of things. So I was like, fuck it. I just like threw a bunch of pads in there. It was the one thing that kept like lurking in my head. Like while I was packing, I was like, oh, bring pads. And I just like didn't have the fucks to give to like do panty liners and do pads and do tampons. So I just like brought like 6 pads, and I can go through an entire pack of pads in one period. My period's not that long. Bless my uterus, bless all of that. Because it's just, it chooses not to have long periods. I have like 3 heavy days, and then I'll like spot and have light periods for like 2 days, and it'll be like over within 5. You did not need to know how specific my period was, but anyway. So I brought a couple pads. I got my period the day before my fucking birthday, and leading up to my period, I'll always spot for a couple days, but sometimes I'll spot and then I'll have nothing, and then I'll fully start my period. So I was like spotting from like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I was like, no, I was like, fuck it, I'm ignoring it. I'm gonna put my bathing suit on. I'm just gonna like pretend it's not happening. Like, don't bring my period on this early, whatever. And being on vacation is like the number one place I don't want to have my period, because I don't want to wear tampons. And so my period came full-fledged on Thursday. I didn't have any days in between the spotting and the bleeding. And so I was like, fuck. Not only fuck did I just get my period and I'm about to have my period on vacation and have my period on my birthday, but fuck, I didn't bring enough pads. And that is literally my least favorite thing I could ever have to deal with. Like, I hate changing pad brands. I'm a very like sensory sensitive bitch. I'm wearing a shirt right now that my friend made for me for Human to Human, and I haven't washed it yet, so it smells like him and his house, and it's like bothering me. Like, not because he smells bad at all, just because I am so sensitive to smells and just so sensitive to like all that shit. So anyway, I got panty liners, and they smelled so bad. Like, they put fake smell on them, and it was horrible, and I was like, ew, fuck this shit. So I was like, somehow I'm gonna have to make my pads last, which is like also gross. And also, I'm a big period underwear girl. I love wearing them at night when I get my period. They're the best to wear, the thin ones. I use Knix. They're the best to use, the thin Knix underwear when you're like spotting. So even when I was spotting, I was like, why the fuck did I not bring my period underwear? Like, I'm so pissed. I forgot this. And the type of pads I use, I have had pad struggles. Like, I used to have a favorite brand that had wings, and it was like a thin pad. It was so good for those days when I was spotting, and they fucking discontinued the brand. My mom and I were obsessed with them. I used to work at a pharmacy when I was in high school, and my mom would come and she would buy like 10 of them. And then when we heard they were getting discontinued, we stocked up on those motherfuckers. And so I don't have a really good go-to pad brand. And because I'm so specific, like, I hate the brands that like have the ribs and like all the like weird, like, I don't know, texture where it's just like kind of a softer texture, but it like expands and you can like see all the like little holes in the pads expanding. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just found... And again, my mom's iconic, and my mom just like looked really hard to find good pads, because she has the same problem where like if you're not having a heavy period but you're not fully spotting, you still need to wear a pad, but you don't want to wear a thick ass pad. So I wear Dollarama pads. And trust me, I am all about like health is wealth and like putting things in and on your body that are completely natural and healthy. And I haven't been able to find a pad that's like, I don't assume the Dollarama pads are like 10 out of 10 natural healthy for your body. But I love the fact that they have wings. I love the thickness of them. I hate wearing pads that feel like a diaper. It's like the worst thing ever to like go somewhere. And I remember being in high school and going to my ex-boyfriend's house and being like, I don't have a pad. Like, can I use a pad? And his sister only had these like diaper pads. And I was like, I'm literally so uncomfortable. So thank God my cousin brought tampons. So I was like, Jess, you're just going to have to fucking deal with this. And you're just going to have to stick a tamp in, calm the fuck down, do your deep breathing, and just like go on with your life. So on the Thursday I wore a pad, and then the Friday is my birthday, March 8th, National Women's Day. And it's a full day excursion. It's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'm like, fuck me. Like, I'm gonna have to change my tampon at some point in this day. Cause like doing it in the morning, this makes me like lightheaded. I am so queasy too. I'm just gonna drink water. I ate breakfast this morning, don't worry. But like I'm such a queasy bitch. Like I passed out in grade 5 health class because I was just like so interested to learn about my body, and I watched a video about periods, and the fake period blood made me literally drop on the floor. Like I woke up and my teacher was holding me. It's embarrassing. I know. Almost passed out in a restaurant, and the waitress caught me because my friend was telling me a really long story about her IUD and how she bled every day for a month. So I am sensitive, okay? And so that's why I especially don't like putting things in my cooch. But I did a really good job on this trip, and I'm really proud of myself. So the morning of my birthday, I woke up, I didn't wake up and put on my bathing suit. I woke up, had a shower, and was like, Jess, you're a baddie. You're the best. I took a shit. Then I took a shower because I was like, if I put in my tampon, then I have to take a shit. Like that's going to fuck with my vibe. And I poo twice a day. I'm like a regular pooer. And so on this trip, I could not poo twice a day for the most part. So I was like, once a day, my body's just going to have to deal with it. So when I got home, it was a party. It was a party on the toilet. Blah. So I took a shit, had a shower, and I was like, deep breathing. I have to do the full like leg up too on the toilet seat. I cannot just sit and like open my legs and try and stick the tampon in. I need to like stand full leg on the toilet seat, deep breathe. I literally I get it ready because the applicator sometimes can get stuck. So I will open the applicator, push it a little tiny bit. So the cotton part, love you boys who are listening right now. I know there's some guys who listen to this podcast. Love you so much. This is educational for you. I like push it a little bit so the cotton part comes out so it'll be easy to like fully get it in. Then I put my leg up, take a deep breath in, start to like, do I take a deep breath out? Yeah, I take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. And then sometimes I'm like, picture it's a penis and you want it in your vagina, because that makes me like chill out. That makes me be like, oh, I put things in my cooch all the time. Like it's fine. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna survive. So I'll have my leg up, I'll take some deep breaths, and then I'll put it in, and then I'll take another deep breath and make sure like I fully exhale. And then I always try and do a little bit more of a shove. But sometimes it like hits parts of my walls and it hurts so bad. And also like I think I have a tilted uterus, so I have to like, maybe all of us do, but I don't think all of us do. Anyway, so my grandmas were talking about it, and I was like, I think this is what I struggle with. So you have to like kind of put it towards your butt instead of just like up. Anyway, we're getting really into it today. I just want to tell you about my birthday, not this much in detail. I didn't even think I was going to go into this much detail in the morning. This isn't even the thing I thought I was going to tell you. So I put my tampon in, successful, 10 out of 10, wash the blood off your hands, you're good to go. Sometimes there's blood, sometimes there's not. Depends how heavy the flow is. You know the vibes, girlies. So then I bring extra tampons, and these tampons were from my cousin. Like, thank God. She's a full tampon girly. She doesn't use pads at all. Like, props to all of us women just trying to figure it out. And of course, men made tampons. So tampons actually don't work that well in general. Sometimes for some people. I am one of those people. So we get on the boat, and it's a fucking vibe. It's like 8 a.m, but it's this big boat. There's like a main level, and it's not that big of a boat. That makes it sound like it's a yacht. It's like a decently sized boat. It's not a catamaran. It's like a medium sized boat. So there's like a whole sitting area, and then you can go on the front of the boat, and then you can go upstairs and sit at the top of the boat. And being at the resort for the past like couple days at this point, there was a lot of unhappy British people. No hate to British people, but like a lot of people who are at this resort were British and were very unhappy. So the vibe of the resort was like, it was good, but it wasn't that awesome. It wasn't like super positive and super great. Like I just felt bad, especially for the people who were working there, because I'm like, nobody wants to deal with mean ass customers, and this resort is actually getting torn down in the next couple weeks and getting built into like a huge one. So it's like it's at the end of its life, and so like these people are about to lose their jobs. They just want to like have a good time, and so then there's these British people being dicks. So I just didn't realize the vibes were not that good at the resort until we got to the excursion. And these men, there were 4 guys who were leading the whole thing. There was one captain, and then there was one guy who was always on the mic, like playing music, making the vibes. And then there was a guy walking around serving us drinks. It's 8 a.m. So they're serving us like Coke and Sprite and water. And I was like, wow, like I'm so impressed that they're like serving us, and like they're really, really nice, and they're just like making sure we're good. And so I was like still waking up at this point. So I'm like having a banana on the boat, just like vibing out. But every time I went pee, I would wipe and there would be blood. And so I was like, fuck, like this tampon isn't working. Or it's working, but my period's just too heavy. And so that bathroom made me feel so nauseous and like so dizzy and just like seasick, because it was this teeny tiny like square of a washroom. There was a tiny mirror, but not really a big mirror to look at. There was no windows, obviously, because you don't want people looking in. And so when you would look just at the walls, it would be like, whoa, like you're like fucking moving back and forth, like you're on a boat, because you're on a boat. So I was like, fuck me, I really don't want to have to change my tampon in this boat. Like this is gonna be so uncomfortable. But I was like, Jess, you can do it. Like I know you can do it, and you probably are gonna have to do it. So like let's not get too scared about it, and let's just like make the best of this, because like the vibes are good on this boat. It's gonna be fine. So it was a really, really, really long boat ride from basically our like marina to the next stop, and this story is just like so weird and long, but I guess that's what we're here for. So we were seeing a lot of things, but like mentally and emotionally, especially it being the morning, was just like you're trying to like make yourself feel okay just because it's so wavy and stuff. But then some exciting shit went down. So in the first couple hours, I ended up talking to one of the tour guides, and I was like, it's my birthday. And he was like, it's your birthday. And I was like, yeah. And so then like word slowly started to spread that it was my birthday. And I've never spent my birthday, one, completely disconnected from my phone. Like it was on airplane mode. I had no Wi-Fi. So I wasn't talking to anyone all day long, which was so fun. And then on top of that, I was spending my birthday with a bunch of strangers. I didn't care about what any of these people thought of me. My cousin and I at this point, like, I don't really care what she thinks of me. Her and I have been vibing all week. We're chilling. She's burnt as a crisp because she didn't wear sunscreen our first day. So like she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, and then slowly word spreads. And so then there was like this like window, and I was always at the front of the boat for the first part of the journey, and the guys would pop through and be like, birthday girl, are you good? Birthday girl, do you need another drink? And it just made me feel so special. And also, I didn't realize like I was doing everything I could have possibly loved to do on this boat excursion, because I love being on the water. I love being in the sunshine. I love wearing bathing suits. And then we saw fucking dolphins. I never in my life expected that to be part of this excursion. We are just like la 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 boating around. And then he says over the mic, one of the guys was like, we are steering in a different direction because over there you'll be able to see there's a few boats around. There's dolphins over there, so we're going to try to see them. And I was like, what? And then when we would get closer and we weren't seeing them, I was like, okay, like maybe we won't see the dolphins, and like that'll be fine, and it's like not that big of a deal. And then we saw so many dolphins, and it was fucking so cool, and I was so glad I was at the front of the boat for it. And there were so many of them, and they were so small. They were so much smaller than I expected. And then one of the guys on the boat, who was like a tour guide, he took a video of me, and just like as a content creator bitch, as a chick who's like always trying to get video moments of things, and like I obviously use so many videos of myself in social media posts, in like I use it as B-roll and put it over top of me talking in podcast clips. And so like so much of my life is me being like, can you take this video of me? Can you take this video of me? Or I just like accept that there's not going to be videos of me, and it's fine. So the fact that this guy took a video of me, and in the video he's like, happy birthday, and I'm like, thanks. I just was like, oh my God, that's so special, because first of all, there's dolphins in the background, and it's me on my birthday, and like I never asked anyone to take my video, and it was just like, it was such a nice moment, and I was so grateful. And when I saw the dolphins, I was like, the rest of my day is made. Like, I could go home right now and I'd be happy. Like, this was so fucking cool. But then I just snotted. I had to change the tampon. So we're like so far into the journey at this point. It feels like we've been on this boat for at least an hour, if not 2. I think we were definitely on it for 2 hours. And I'm like, okay, we're getting close to like the next marina and we're going to get off the boat. So I was like, do I change it now when the waves weren't as bad? And so I said to one of the guys, I was like, is there going to be bathrooms like when we like on land bathrooms? And he laughs and he's like, yeah, there's going to be on land bathrooms. But I was like, you know what? Like, I can feel it. Like, you know, when your tampon is full and you can fucking feel it. It's so uncomfortable. And I was like, things seem pretty chill on the boat right now. Fuck it. I'm just going to try right now. And I knew, I like talked it through in my head. I get in that bathroom. I'm like, I'm taking all of my pants off. I'm taking my freaking bikini bottoms off. I'm taking my jean shorts off. And I am just deep breathing. And I'm going to do the full leg up on the toilet vibe again, tilted out. And it's going to be great. And I'm going to be fine. And so I wash my hands. I do the deed. I take it out. I don't flush those bitches. OMG, especially on a boat bathroom. Wrap it up, put it in the garbage. Sorry if anyone ends up seeing that. I don't think they will though, because I put it in toilet paper. I took my deep breaths and I did it. And I was successful. And I was so proud of myself. I was literally shaking when I was coming out of the bathroom. And it was so hot too. So I was like, I just need to go swimming so badly right now. But I come out and like my cousin kind of knew that I struggle with tampons. And she's like, all good? And I'm like, all fucking good. I was like, I did it, bitch. Let's have a fucking day. Let's vibe the fuck out. I'm ready to party. And then I didn't have any blood coming out after that. That tampon held strong. It was so good. And then we went to a waterfall and it was like, they were so organized. I felt like I was a fucking kid again being taken on a camp counselor like trip excursion. They were like in and out. They would take all our pictures. They would take all our phones and take our pictures. And I got to swim in the water and I started to feel better. And then it was like, okay, on to the next thing. And then we went to these mud baths, but like hot springs. So basically you get there and they're like making jokes the whole time, being like, take your jewelry off because we don't want you to have a fight if you're married and you find out that like it's going to tarnish and it's going to turn your like fake silver into just like an ugly ass color. So I'm like, fuck me, I have a nose ring. And I was like, I'm not taking my nose ring out. So I was like, okay, I'm just not going to put mud on my face and I'm not going to put my head underwater. So we get to this like hot spring and I've never been to a hot spring this fucking cool. I was telling a mom and 2 girls who like her like daughters were similar to like my age and my cousin's age. And so I was saying to them like, oh, in Canada, blah, blah, blah. I've been to Alberta and like there's these hot springs and I went with my brother and it was kind of like a gross hot tub. And they're like, we're from British Columbia. And I was like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I was in Banff. You know where that is, obviously. But like everyone's from all over the place. So that's why I literally just got like a hot flash saying that because I was genuinely embarrassed that I like was saying in Canada. And so anyway, this hot bath was so different. It was literally in a volcano and there was like mountains all around us. You could see heat coming off of the volcano and you put mud on yourself and you get in and it is hotter than a hot tub. Like it was insanely hot. My poor cousin's sunburn. She was like, I cannot stay in here. So my tampon was feeling good the whole time. My nose ring did not turn silver. So that's fucking awesome. Then we went for lunch and my cousin and I were just eating lunch, vibing out. And then again, they were like, birthday girl, are you good? And I just felt so special that all day, like these guys were checking on me and making sure I was having fun. And like they had just such a positive energy. And then after that, we went back on the boat and they were like, it's drink time. And let's talk about it. If you've been around for a while, you know, I've been on an alcohol-free journey. And my philosophy, especially going into this trip, was like, if I am in the mood to drink alcohol, I will drink alcohol. I will not plan to drink alcohol because that is, especially for my own personal experience, we're all on different journeys. And for me, that's when things go bad. And that's when things get dangerous, is when I plan in advance to drink, then I go overboard. And it's been really, really good the past, like basically since August, I've been just experimenting with not drinking, going long stints without drinking, not drinking in social situations. And so, you know, it's so much easier sometimes to think, I'm going to not drink for the rest of my life. And going into the new year, I was like, I'm not going to drink for all of 2024. And then after a while, like, the more you tell yourself not to do something, the more you want to do it. So I was like, I'm going on an all-inclusive vacation. I am having my birthday there. Like, I'm not going to like put rules on myself, and I'm just going to try to live really intuitively and trust myself, trust my body. I had one, and this is the thing, I fucking love my memories of going on vacation and having a drunk day, not every day, but having one drunk day where I like get ready for dinner and I'm turned and I'm just like having so much fun. So my cousin and I, on like the Tuesday or the Wednesday, we had a drunk day, and it was so much fun and we had such a good time. And then the next morning I obviously felt like shit and like had terrible shits, and I ended up, and it was crazy because on the Thursday I was getting my period, which I didn't know, but like my lower back was hurting and everything was also like hurting more than it would have if I wasn't getting my period. And then on top of that, I was hungover. So I went on like the little patio we had off our hotel room, and I just like stretched, I did some yoga, I journaled, and then I had this realization that like, Jess, you have the tools. You know how to take care of yourself. And so instead of berating yourself for drinking, just be proud of yourself that you know how to help yourself when you don't feel good. And I was able to really realize when I was journaling that like, bitch, you wanted to drink yesterday. And if you wanted to drink yesterday, don't feel bad about drinking yesterday, and just know that like you're doing a good job right now because you're taking care of yourself and you're taking your electrolytes and you're having a chill day and you're not going to drink again for that day and you're good. And so I felt really good. And then when we were on the boat and drinks were included, I was like, if I want to drink and it feels good in the moment, I'm going to drink. It's my birthday. I want to celebrate. Like, not that I need alcohol to celebrate, but I just trusted my body and I was proud of myself. So we got back from the mud bath and the waterfall and the lunch, and they literally took a beer because they didn't have champagne. They took a bottle of beer and like shook it and like sprayed me with it. It was so fun. And then I ended up making friends on the boat, and so we were hanging out with these two older women. They were like in their 50s, I would say, Lou and Liz. And then we met these older dudes, and their names were Roy and Clayton, and like we were all dancing with them. It was so fun and cute. And then they were like, okay guys, we're going snorkeling. So at this point we only had like one drink, so it was good. We went snorkeling, and some of the tour guys would the tour guides / tour guys, they would dive down into the water and like like they didn't do this for like a whole group of us. We were all kind of like separated, but one of them came over and he was like, did you see the pufferfish? I'm like, oh my god, no, I did not see the fucking pufferfish. So we dove down and moved just like the water, and this big pufferfish came out, and then he's like, did you see the snake? And I was like, no, I didn't see the snake. He's like, okay, hold on, and dove down and moved it, and I saw a fucking snake, and then I was off on my own, and then I'd find my cousin and be like, oh my god, I lost you, okay, let's swim together for a bit. And I would like follow these fish, and there was like big blue fish, and they were so beautiful. And like when I told my friend about this like whole excursion, she was like, that literally sounds like every single thing you love. And I was like, damn, I did not realize that like I'm obsessed with swimming. I'm obsessed with fish. I'm obsessed with being on the water, like all of these things. And so I'm like, I didn't even realize planning this was planning my dream day. And it just happened to also be on my birthday. And so I was like so proud of myself. And then again, another favorite thing of mine is dancing. And so we got back on the boat and they were playing bangers, and we were just having a few drinks, dancing all together. My cousin was dancing. We were dancing with the couple, like not the couples. They were literally like two sets of friends, and then like a set of cousins as well, like the older guys and the older girls. And we like did a whole fucking like, what's it called? Not a merengue, and not a like a train, when you do the whole train. And we went up the top of the boat and then went all around, and it was so fun, just like so much fun. And we were like drinking. They wished us, like they sang me and this other girl whose birthday was the day before, they sang us happy birthday, and it went by so fast. And the next thing I knew, we were back at the marina and ready to go back to the resort. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave. Like, I literally did not want to go back to the resort. I did not want to go back to my phone. I like wanted to talk to my boyfriend and wanted to call my parents, but like overall, I didn't want to respond to any texts. I didn't want to like come back to like quote unquote the real world. I just had such a good time, and that was such a lesson for me of like, you're allowed to spend your birthday however the fuck you want to spend your birthday. You don't need to be responding to messages all day, and you don't need to like, you know, make sure you're doing something that everyone's going to be there for and everyone's going to be having fun. Like before I went on my trip, I was like, I love to go to Othership. I love to do a sauna and a cold plunge. So I'm going to invite a bunch of my friends, my boyfriend's friends, my friends, whatever. And whoever can come can come. And a few people could come, and I didn't realize it was also out of a lot of people's comfort zone. It wasn't accessible for a lot of people. And so I was like, that's totally fine. Not everybody needs to come to this. And it was just like the most chill approach I've ever taken for my birthday. Like, I used to like host parties and like mesh friend groups, and it was all like so much effort and so much pressure on me to like merge everybody and make sure everyone was having fun. And even for Othership, I'm like, thank God not that many people came. One of my good friends came, and then like 3 of my boyfriends or 4 of my boyfriend's friends came. And so I was like, this is a perfect group. If there was like 8 of us here, it would feel, well, I think there was, but if there was any more than however many there was, it would have been too much. It was just such a different kind of birthday, and I just took so many lessons out of that. And the biggest thing too is that like oftentimes on our birthday, we do end up trying to please other people. And when people are sending you birthday messages, you know, I feel very lucky. I have, you know, incredible friends and incredible people around me. So I get a few birthday messages on the day, but it turns into, oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, I love you so much. Oh my God, you're the best. And it's like, yes, I mean all of it, but it doesn't feel fun to just do that all day. And I was telling someone about this, and they were like, oh my God, that literally starts to like make your birthday not about you. It's about like making sure everyone else feels good and they feel like, oh, they did a good job. Check mark. You wished me happy birthday. So as soon as we got back to the resort after this whole boat party, I like didn't want to go on my phone, and I was drunk at this point. And I was like, I said to my cousin, I was like, I wish you could just turn off being drunk. I wish you could just like be drunk and then just like stop being drunk. Because at that point I was like, okay, I don't want to be drunk anymore. And the same thing when I drank a couple days before. I like had a really good day on the beach drinking, and then I went to dinner, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to be drunk anymore. So anyway, just like an interesting way to like navigate alcohol and just allow it to just flow in and out of my life in different ways and keep it intuitive and just like be aligned with myself. So the rest of the day ended up being also so much fucking fun. So we got to our hotel. We were like, fuck, okay, we got to shower. We got to pull our shit together. And we decided to go to the street party. So all week, my cousin and I had been hearing about this Friday night street party. It's huge in St. Lucia. Every single Friday, except for like Easter and Christmas, they do it every single week. And we heard about it all week long. Everyone was always like, are you coming? Are you coming? And my cousin, love her to bits. She's a little naive and a little stupid for 18. Well, people say it's because she's 18. That's up to your discretion, because a lot of the men just flock to her. The locals just swarm her. And so I'm like, bitch, I am not taking you to this street party because I'm going to have to like be your keeper. And I have never like taken on that like older sibling energy because I'm a younger sibling. My brother like is very protective of me. So I've never felt like I had to like take the lead on things, especially traveling too. But with her, I was like, I'm older than you. I'm going to have to make sure you don't get into fucking trouble because you are trouble. And so all week I was like, I'm not taking her. We're not doing it. We're doing the excursion on the Friday for my birthday, blah, blah, blah. But then the friends that we met on the boat, Lou and Liz, were like, we'll take you to the street party. We'll pick you up in the cab. We'll drop you off in the cab. We won't lose you. We'll make sure we stick together. And I was like, damn, that's fucking awesome. Okay, let's do it. So we get back to the hotel. We quickly get ready. We have a shower, and then we have dinner with my grandmas. And my grandma, she always does this. This is my 80-year-old grandma. She brought balloons to the trip in her suitcase, blew them up, and brought them to dinner. Like, she will not let anyone have a low-key birthday. And like, yes, I obviously was not having a low-key birthday for the whole day. Like, everyone on the boat ended up knowing who my fucking name was. But this feels like a movie moment. And it's so funny because like one of the ladies that we were talking to, they were like, next year you're just going to be talking about what you did last year for your birthday. Like, nothing's going to top this. And I was like, you're so fucking right. So we get to dinner, and this part is always like an embarrassing part. And as a kid, I spent a few birthdays on vacations, and my grandma would always bring the balloons, and you're like, oh my God, everyone can see me. And like, my grandmas are always so particular about what they want. And I had talked to my boyfriend actually previously on FaceTime in the hotel room. So I went to dinner, and I was like, great, I already connected with my boyfriend. That's so awesome. Let's have dinner with my grandmas. And then my mom wanted to FaceTime me. So I FaceTimed my mom, and we had a good chat. I talked to my dad. And then the next thing we know, we're like, oh, Lou and Liz are here. They're coming to pick us up. We gotta go. Peace. So we had the quickest dinner with my grandmas, which I'm so happy about because that was the most painful part of the trip, was having dinner with them every evening. And like, again, love them so much. But, you know, I'm 23. They're 80 and 75-ish. I don't know how old the other one is. So then we run off. We get into the cab. We go to the fucking street party. It is such a fun time. Also, let's talk about the Tamps for a second. Circle back. My tampon stayed in for the whole afternoon on the boat. It was perfect. I got back to our hotel room and I was like, well, fuck. I'm not just going to go to bed. I'm going to go to the street party. And I don't want to wear, you know, a sweaty pad to this really hot street party. We did 3 tampons, bitches. 3 in one day. That is so big for me. I was so proud of myself. The next day, I wore my 4th tampon of the trip and I was like, okay, I'm over it. Like, I wore it for a couple hours and I was like, I hate this. I need to be done with the Tamps. And I was done with the Tamps and it was all good. But she did so good. She, as in me, I did so good with my period on that trip. And then it's kind of nice because you come home and then you're like, oh, I'm off my period. Oh, okay. I just like dealt with it. Tampons do make you feel like you're not even really on your period because you're not like bloody and shit. So we went to the street party and it was such a good time. They played such crazy good music. Me and this other chick started to dance. I'm pretty sure she was a local. She like seemed like she was in like early high school or like even late high school years, but it was one girl and then like 5 guys who looked like they were freshly going through puberty. So her and I were fucking vibing, and then once in a while she'd go back to like the guys that she was with, and I got to dance all evening. And all evening though, we're like, where are our tour guides? They said they were gonna come, and like we didn't see them until the very end. We started leaving and one of the tour guides, we were like, wow, what's up? And then that was it, and we went home and it was so fun. And I did have to like keep a bit of reins on my cousin. She literally went and just ran into, so there's a huge dance floor, not like dance floor, it was like literally outside, but it was like so many tourists, like it was so many of us you could tell were tourists because we're all white. There was like one section that you could tell was like a lot of tourists and then a few locals like streaming through, basically trying to dance with you. And it's like you're at a club, you know, you gotta like shoo off the men that are creepy. And then there was one other half of the dance floor and it was all locals, and so it's like all dudes pretty much. And so my cousin, we were like talking to Lou and Liz, and they were like, okay, 20 more minutes then we'll leave. And we're like, okay, perfect, like the vibes are changing, we should go. So she's like, yes, 20 more minutes. My cousin fucking runs into the men and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I grabbed her arm and fucking pulled her back, and I'm like, do not do that, don't run into the men. And I was like, you know, having drinks throughout the day. So at one point I was like, you're stupid, stop being stupid. I feel kind of bad about that now looking back on it. But overall, then we got back to our hotel safely. Thanked Lou and Liz for the best time ever. So grateful that they like took us under their wing and took care of us like they were our moms, but they were also like vibing out like us, like they were friends, and dancing with us all night. And when I got back from my trip, I was like, I needed that. Like, I haven't gone on a trip in a while, and I haven't just kind of like let loose in a while and just like disconnected from my life here in Toronto. I've just been so deep into working, and that's the thing, I worked while I was gone too. Like I'm so lucky I have a mostly remote job, so I worked while I was there and was able to like still make money, thank God. And still though, came back this week and was so tired, but was also just like, that felt so good. And I'm just like so grateful that my parents were so supportive of me going, and my boyfriend was so supportive of me going, and I just got to have such a different kind of birthday this year. And I don't really feel like I've ever given such a full birthday recap on the podcast before, because it was always just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I just never expected that it would be this wild. And this St. Lucia trip, we literally booked it 2 weeks and then like before we left. So you just like you can't over plan your life. Truly, you can't, because when you allow spontaneous things to come up, it's like 10 times more fun, and so much happens that you could have never expected. And I'm just so proud of myself for like taking the lead to book that excursion for my birthday. And I know that part of it wouldn't have happened without me just like taking the lead on it and just being like, fuck it, we're gonna pay the money, we're just gonna do it, we're just gonna have fun, and it's my birthday, and like if we go to the street party we do, if we don't we don't, whatever. And just was able to like let go. And that's such a theme in my life right now, is just like let go and just allow whatever higher power you believe in. For me, is the universe. Like just allowing the universe to just like take control just brings about things that I could have never dreamed up. So thanks for listening to my entire fucking birthday party that I had for me with a bunch of strangers, which is so fun. Last thing, when you have a birthday with a ton of fucking strangers, there's no pressure to like, I don't know, be a certain way. And so also the next day, so I did not realize how many people I talked to who were on the same resort as us. So the amount of people who were like, oh, the birthday girl's up, oh, the birthday girl's awake, and I'd see people on the resort and they would be like, how are you feeling today, birthday girl? And I'd be like, I'm good. And then at the street party, actually that night on my birthday, we ran into the same mom and 2 daughters who were from British Columbia, and I was like, oh my god, I'm Jessica. And she's like, oh, I know, I've heard your name all day long. And I was like, okay, sorry, what's your name? Didn't catch that. And it was just such a good time. And then we saw them at the airport when we were leaving, and so you just ended up like, it was kind of like summer camp vibes, but I've never been to like overnight summer camp, but I imagine that's how it is, where you just like see the same people all the time, and it just felt like this iconic movie. And I'm just so grateful I got to have like this movie moment. And romanticizing our life is just, we gotta do it, or else what the fuck's the point of anything? Like, sometimes you just gotta let loose and have fun and like embrace the stress that comes about when you do things out of your comfort zone. Because yeah, leading up to this trip, it was stressful, but it ended up being such a good time. And yeah, I love you. I appreciate you listening. And if you enjoy these life update episodes, please let me know. You can tell me on Instagram or TikTok, and you can also just submit anonymously on my website, humantohumanpod.com. I have a section where you can submit a question, submit a story, or you can just submit a request and be like, do more life updates, or do less. I can also do less life updates if like that's not a vibe. But yeah, I just love you for giving a fuck about my life. It's crazy. I know I'm just like this random chick who lives in Toronto who I'm talking to a microphone, but I have so much fun doing this, and I'm just so grateful for these experiences that I get to have, truly. And life is what we make of it. I talked to my therapist a couple days ago, and I was like, I wouldn't be able to do this healing work if I didn't work really hard to surround myself by people who make me feel good, because that has not always been the case. So it's always a work in progress. I will see you not next Monday, but the Monday after, because I'm posting every other Monday. And subscribe so you don't miss it, and you really won't want to miss the next episode because shit's changing around here. Oh yeah.